It's Monday morning today, and that means it's the last day of the long weekend, which means I'm back to work tomorrow, but I guess that is what it is. This morning I woke up to some metrics on the last project video, the concrete copper video. The video that I said was my favorite video of all time. And in a case of some serious comedic irony, in terms of likes and dislikes, that is my worst performing video. I think it was, I've got about 20 dislikes to 40 likes, which is just awful in terms of my videos. I normally get a couple of dislikes. So to get that many compared to the number of likes is just, it just means that it's a terribly performing video. So in that video that I posted yesterday, the vlog, Colin mentioned that, you can never tell what videos are and aren't going to do well. And I think that's just the case with this, and I think this is a good case study of that. The fact that not only has my favorite video not done particularly well, but it's done poorly. Like it's the worst video I've ever released in terms of likes and dislikes. That I guess that just goes to show that you cannot, in this industry, you just cannot tell what's gonna stick. But on to other things. This chopping board was used quite heavily yesterday for the Easter lunch that we did. So today I'm going to spend some time refinishing it. You can see all the knife marks down here. This was a fairly cheap board that I bought. So with a bit of sanding, it generally comes up quite nicely. Well, that ended up being a much bigger endeavor than I'd originally planned. You can see all the shavings. I ended up getting the hand plane out and actually taking probably about 5-10 mil off the top, because some of the scratches in here were so deep that no amount of sanding was going to get it off in a reasonable amount of time. So I've planed it, got the belt sander out to smooth out the plane marks, and then I went over it with 120 grit. So if I throw a bit of metho onto it. That's basically what it's going to look like. Now that the cutting board is out of the way, I can get started on the project that I've been waiting to do for so long. This is the silky oak timber slab, and I'm going to flatten this and turn this into a coffee table. Before using the flattening jig with the router, I'm going to get started with a hand plane. It's just a lot less noisy, and to be honest, it's a good workout. Okay, and some mess later. I've taken off a fair bit of the slab. This is just one particular corner. The idea is that it's going to be flipped over for the first run. So this is probably about the flattest side, so that's why that goes down first. I'm not going to do any more work today because it is a public holiday, so I don't want to be running any power tools. But tomorrow morning, that is going to be under this, and hopefully it won't take more than a couple days and I'll get a nice flat slab out of that. It's Tuesday morning, so that means it's back to the work week, and I've also got a lot of paperwork to do and invoices to send out for the YouTube channel, so it's basically going to be one of those mornings. I also spent most of yesterday planing that timber slab, so my back is stuffed. I don't consider myself very old. I'm in my early 30s, which I don't think is very old by today's standards. But it's amazing how almost overnight on my 30th birthday, I went from being a young guy who could do anything to suddenly, if I put in too much work during the day, the next day I am stuffed. And while age isn't necessarily something I want to harp on about, I do think it is something that everybody at some point in their life considers. And you can either choose to fight it, or you can be pragmatic and just roll with it, because we're all going to go through that at some stage. But I read a really interesting quote the other day, and that was, your 30s are what you were supposed to do in your 20s. So basically your 20s are full of mistakes, which is what your 20s are about. And then you reach 30 and you have this new level of confidence and sort of understanding of the way the world works. Now, in no way am I trying to justify that being 30 is okay, because I know 30 will end. But it's more the idea that you've learned along the way, and it's all about learning. So while you've left your 20s behind, which a lot of people are like, oh, you know, that was the best part of my life, you've learned so much to bring into your 30s, and the same will apply going from your 30s to your 40s, 40s to 50s, etc. So this goes back to that idea that age is pragmatic, and you can look at it two ways. And if you choose to look at it like everything up till now has been a learning experience, now I am the fullest person that I will ever be, then it suddenly isn't such a scary thing. Although with that said, my body is still very sore, and no amount of pragmatic thinking is going to take the pain away.